reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you will find scrolling down on the front page. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions that adverse to the practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Para Samgate Bodhiswaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that Samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, "Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice." When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, we can recite the rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum. So the mantra of Mani Padme Hum is the mantra of, we say the mantra of compassion, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who is the manifestation of the compassion of all the Buddhas. And last week we were discussing the Tibetan translation of the word karuna in Sanskrit, and the word that we translate is compassion, which is ninje. And His Holiness has been talking about how ninje is not just compassion, it contains all sorts of qualities. Do you remember what they are?
You mentioned it was like giving your heart, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Nin, meaning
Literally
in Tibetan,
your heart.
the heart.
Loving kindness, compassion, altruism.
Discussing sympathy and empathy as well, right?
Oh yes,
Right.
yes.
Ninja is more empathy than sympathy, isn't that it?
Oh right, it was no
It's
English translation.
but it's
for that.
more than empathy is some kind of an identification with the suffering that others are experiencing, while ninja contains also the wish to remove it. Where is this?
You look for 74.
I have two place
Bottom of
marks.
73.
Yes. So, as such, our innate capacity for empathy is the source of that. So it's the source. Empathy becomes like a cause of, or a source of all human qualities, which in Tibetan we call ninje. Now, while generally translated simply as compassion, the term ninje has a wealth of meaning that is difficult to convey succinctly. Though the idea it contains are universally understood, it connotes love, affection, kindness, gentleness, generosity of spirit, warm-heartedness. But it also is this wish to remove the suffering of others. So as we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, we can think not just of that being the mantra of compassion, or of Avalokiteshvara, who's the manifestation of compassion, but really think about this, the meaning of ninje, the different aspects of what ninje conveys. So we got to 74. I have a little mark here. Although it is clear from this description that ninje, or love and compassion, is understood as an emotion, it belongs to that category of emotions which have a more developed cognitive component. Now, what would that be? What is this more developed cognitive component? What does that mean? So, since compassion is not just that mere sort of feeling sad about something, but it contains an actual action. I mean, this wish to remove suffering, all these other qualities that it contains, I think are what is being suggested here. It belongs to that category of emotions which have a more developed cognitive component. Some emotions, such as revulsion, as the revulsion we tend to feel at the sight of blood, are basically instinctual. Others, such as fear of poverty, have this more developed cognitive component. We can thus understand ninja in terms of a combination of empathy and reason. So, empathy is this being aware of having a vicarious experience of the feeling of suffering of others, and that entering into a concern for others, which is what provokes or causes that wish to remove the unpleasant experience they're having, is, I think, what is meant by this cognitive component. We can think of empathy as the characteristic of a very honest person. Reason as of someone who is very practical. So what do you think that means? Well, thank you, Tony.
There's a thinking, what we always bring up when they do the brain scan of meditators, and they tell them meditate on compassion. This is from the Wisconsin. The motor center of the brain lights up. I want not only acknowledge, I want to do something. That part of the brain that wants to do some active thing lights up, according to, Richie in the lab in Wisconsin. So but it's not just reacting, it's reacting and probably going into memory to place the thing in the context, in the global context. This is someone suffering, I can do something. A lot in the split second occurs, I would think.
But
Not
this,
just, oh, poor thing, that's not compassion.
but this is, I mean, as we discuss it, we should discuss it and think about it with the understanding that this is a quality that, as we think about it, as we recognize its validity, its benefit, that process itself is cultivating it within us. That compassion is not something that someone has and someone else doesn't. It is a quality that we can cultivate.
Everyone has the basis for it, in other words, everyone has the
I don't even know. I mean, if you mean basis in the sense that
something, I don't know. It's doable though.
it's doable, and it must be done. In other words, we have to work on ourselves. That's what I was. Yeah, in terms of our all having the seed of it, I mean, His Holiness has suggested that there are qualities of compassion, or what is the word that he uses, that a mother has for her child, that a child has towards its mother, that are what enables the child to survive, and it's a mutual quality.
A biological component, you think? Maybe?
I don't know. We should ask the mothers here.
Symbiotic.
We could ask a dad whose kid is only into his mom right now. No matter what I do. Yeah. Well, I mean, bringing up the feminine is interesting, right? Because I'm obviously a little harder on life than my wife is. She's much gentler with my son. So when my son is acting out, I'm the one that tends to be time out. Where she's like,
See, that was me.
yeah, where she's like, come over here, you're having big feelings. You know, she's consoling. So I'm thinking about compassion in that way, which is, you know, for me, learning how to be a better father means learning to be more feminine, to be in touch with my more feminine side. And
So that's being a better father.
Yeah, meaning learning to be more gentle with myself.
So you often hear that the one aspect of compassion is if a mother were to see her son fall into a river, the degree to which her heart would come out, desperately. And then there is the masculine aspect of compassion, which is the father who dives in the water and rescues the child. This may be a little bit sexist, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we hear among the monks as being the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. But I'll let you.
It depends on who can swim. That would be me.
So yes, compassion should contain that element of. It shouldn't just be a sort of spectator sport. It should be
Something that has action.
entered into. It should contain that energy. Though, when we are working at cultivating compassion, we are working at cultivating the wish to remove the suffering of others. So the acting upon that is like a second step. The cultivation of that initial feeling is one that we do inside, but should affect everything that we do, as His Holiness goes on to describe. So others, such as fear of poverty, have this more developed cognitive component, We can thus understand ninja in terms of a combination of empathy and reason. We can think of empathy as the characteristic of a very honest person, reason as of someone who is very practical. When the two are put together, the combination is highly effective. As such, ninja is quite different from those random feelings like anger and lust, which, far from bringing us happiness, only trouble us and destroy our peace of mind. To me, this suggests that by means of sustained reflection on and familiarization with compassion, through rehearsal and practice, we can develop our innate ability to connect with others. So this whole idea of developing, the whole idea that this is something that can be cultivated is really important. I think that the more we recognize that that spiritual practice is the process of working at developing these things. It's not that they're there or they're not there. It's not that they switch on when we lead a spiritual life. It's that spiritual practice is the process of cultivating them. A fact which is of supreme importance given the approach to ethics I've described. The more we develop compassion, the more genuinely ethical our conduct will be. So, the relationship between compassion and ethics.
Ethics is the reason component. It's a combination of empathy and reason. Ethics should be the reason because ethics are engaged in because you know the consequences of actions. So you act ethically to be able to have more ability in the future. So that's a reasonable thing. And then the empathy is sort of like, I don't know. I still don't know what that word means. Some gut reaction, something, emotion, I don't know.
Which? Empathy.
Empathy, yeah. Reason you could, all right.
Being aware.
He's calculating, I would say, and looks at a big picture. If I do this, I'm going to suffer that, so I won't do that. If I avoid this, and I do this, I would have a positive. So that's calculating. I don't know if empathy does that.
No, empathy.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that reasoning nearly contradicts, blocks.
Yeah, empathy says, I want that second piece of tiramisu, but reason says, no, you can't have it. I don't know.
What does empathy do? I want that what?
I want that second piece of dessert or tiramisu.
Empathy does that?
It's sort of that kind of reaction. It's pre-cognitive in a way.
I think Tony's quality of empathy is an interesting one.
It's around food, yes indeed. I have a very strong, or
Maybe
I
ethics.
agree with the precognitive.
it's precognitive. Something where that comes from, I don't know. Was it once cognitive and buried deep, and now it's just sending up signals to make you crave this or that, or like this person? I don't know. I mean, this is a big mystery. All taking place in our minds, which we think we know, but we don't.
Ethics is like a flashlight guiding you toward a dark cave, and inside is bodhicitta. It's the treasure of bodhicitta. That's what
So what is bodhicitta?
Sorry?
What is bodhicitta?
Bodhicitta is the wish to become enlightened for all sentient beings, right?
It hasn't been discussed here.
But that's
Yeah.
the what was the second part? The love, the compassion.
Reasoning and
Yeah,
okay.
compassion,
Empathy,
the ultimate.
reasoning,
What was the word that you were just asking?
Empathy.
Empathy. So, empathy is part of bodhicitta also.
So empathy would definitely be a cause that brings about bodhicitta. So just to be clear, bodhicitta, which we haven't discussed, is is brought about, comes about as a result of compassion. As compassion grows, that out of a wish to actually fulfill this wish to remove the suffering of others, comes the determination to attain a state where one can actually do so. So through rehearsal and practice, we can develop our innate ability to connect with others. So a fact which is of supreme importance given the approach to ethics that I described. But this whole idea that we can develop, I think, is important to bear in mind. And they say that, if you exercise and you work at bodybuilding or whatever it is, you can increase your ability by practicing, by having a daily practice. But there's a limit. While when you are developing these qualities, such as compassion and love, whatever, you can get to a point where they are limitless. And we can think of the limitlessness even in terms of if compassion is this wish to remove the suffering of others, given that there are limitless sentient beings whose compassion we would aspire to wish to remove, this scope of compassion can develop limitlessly. So these are qualities that have this extraordinary limitless scope. So, the more we develop compassion, the more genuinely ethical our conduct will be. How? Why? Why would our ethical conduct be determined by our compassion?
Ethics in your behavior, when you behave ethically, you don't cause suffering for others or yourself. When you don't behave ethically, you're bringing on future suffering for yourself, of course, and then, of course, others who steal you, do this. So that's, but the more you have compassion, you don't want to harm others, you want to actually help others. Of course, you're going to block. Easily said, very hard to bring up minute by minute in your mind. The blueprint's there.
Yes, but to think about it, I think, is important. The more we develop compassion, the more genuinely ethical our conduct will be. So we were talking before about ethics as opposed to spiritual practice. An ethical practice, His Holiness presents as let's say, the muscle or the determination to refrain from engaging in actions that harm others and that harm us. Spiritual practices are the practices that we engage in that benefit others and bring benefit to ourselves. And so here, this is like a link between the two, the determination to refrain from engaging in actions that harm others, develop our what would you call it? Our propensity, our engaging in the actions that bring happiness to others and to ourselves. So I think that these are things to think about. I think that, this paragraph, this book, I think, is really the method by which we actually cultivate these qualities is meditation. Meditation here is analytical meditation. Analytical meditation is thinking about something and going through a process by which we see the truth of the validity in engaging in such an action or such a way of thinking, and see the harm in not doing so. And then as a result of seeing those two things, the positive and the negative, determining to diminish the negative tendency and work at developing the positive. That's something you do sitting, meditating. That's analytical meditation. And that process of thinking is something that we have to do we can't expect any kind of true change to take place in our minds within a few weeks or a few months, but maybe after a few years we can see a little bit of progress. So it's hard work, but if we think of the incalculable eons that it is going to take for us to attain the enlightenment by which we can really help others, devoting a few years to developing these things is part of it. And it works. In other words, if we make the effort, we will bring about the change. And the change will benefit our outlook on life. It will benefit our relationship to others and to the world. It'll make us happier, and it'll make the people around us happier. It's a win-win. It's
not drudge work.
well, you have to sit and do this, but it benefits.
But it's not something you have to wait eons and eons until you're able to do. Every little piece of compassion that we do today ripples throughout the here and now.
Yep. Yes, and develops the propensity to keep on doing it.
Right.
But I do think it's important for us to realize that we should not expect results.
Immediately.
No.
Yeah. You can't change the world today.
You can change yourself.
Change
Yes,
yourself today.
right.
Well, you can't expect big changes in yourself right away.
In some respects, this feels less selfish than the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do to you. Because the golden rule of I'm only going to do this to you in this way because I want you to treat me that way. Because it's like
It's the
it's
start
almost-
of it, though, right?
it's like transactional.
Transactional, I see.
Yeah. Whereas
I don't know that the golden rule should be seen that way. I think
no, but you know what I mean. Like just the way it's written, to some extent, it's not written in a way that's like
do unto
it
others
should just
as
be
you.
do unto others. Period. Right. To some extent.
No, but you're trying to establish how you want. Yeah, I've fallen right into your trap.
No, I just some way this feels like more giving than worrying about how somebody's going to treat you. I think that's one of the things I've been struggling with my practice since I've come here, which is learning to that great spiritual teacher, the person that's wronged you, right? Trying to turn the tables of the way that I'm looking at something that might upset me in a way that generates that sort of compassion. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot since I started coming to the Tibet Center. And that doesn't, I don't know why, it doesn't feel like do unto others to me. It feels different a little bit.
It's more it was just on the tip of my tongue now. I can't think of it, but it's more proactive than reactive. At least in the way that I think it's expressed, right? You're saying I'm doing good for all sentient beings regardless of how they treat me.
Right.
Whereas one can see, can look at the golden rule as being expressed as I'll do good as long as you do good. It's almost
Right.
reciprocal, right?
Right.
So one is almost proactive and the other one's reactive. But I don't think it's meant to be that way. I'm not
It's a
trying to,
good place to start
downpoint
though,
that.
right? It's like a good place and
Right.
everybody can understand that.
Right.
Right.
Do
Because
I
you don't want to
want
be
that?
mistreated. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
would that make me feel
Right.
good? That starts you on your analytical journey, you know, I think.
Yes. Yes, I think that we can use the golden rule, but we have the opportunity to go a lot further. But it's all based on
You start with what you know,
how you want people to treat you.
how it feels to you, you know.
How can that be viewed as skillful means? Like if you're talking to people who are selfish about how they should be treated first, then you express it in that way to get the point across.
Yeah, but we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
This is not about teaching anyone else.
Right.
This is yes, and this mind training is really about changing your own attitude. It's really, seeing those who harm us as providing us with the opportunity to practice patience. That's not anything that we can impose on anyone else. That's
You could just be an example,
Right.
you can, but you shouldn't even. I don't think that we should.
think about it that way,
No,
right?
no.
Mhm.
And as we've discussed before, if you engage in generosity with the wish to derive the karmic benefits from having given, that's business.
I don't think about it myself that way, like me being an example, but I just know that I appreciate when I see others being that example for me. That's super helpful. I don't think they're meaning to show me the way necessarily or not, but it's seeing people acting that way makes you think, I get it.
Humility, I find particularly inspiring. When you see someone who, in a situation where they could be arrogant and they are humble, it's a wonderful reminder of the power of humility, for example. Generosity, too. Ethical behavior, too. Yes, any virtuous action can be an inspiration.
Or how people react to situations as well, right? Seeing somebody act, in possibly an atypical way or what you expect, them acting the opposite is always a good reminder. You don't have to be so reactive or angry.
And so one of the techniques that is very important to bear in mind as we work on ourselves in this is the method by which we diminish the force of having acted wrongly. In other words, if we feel anger coming up and if we actually get angry, if we can recognize that we've gotten angry, and if we regret it, and if we determine not to do so again, all of those things they work. The mere recognition that we have done something wrong is an enormous step, and that, bless you, the determination to work on it, that's all. So we digress maybe, but I think that all of this conversation, these thoughts, are all the method that we have to put into practice to work on ourselves, to actually implement the things that we're talking about. And as I said, analytical meditation, sitting and thinking about these things. And it's not that we have to sit on our meditation pillows and do this formally. It's something that we can do, on the train, on the subway, on the walking along. It's and the more we bring it into our lives, the more effective it then becomes. Thinking about it calmly, reading and contemplating are really helpful. And then actually implementing. Okay. The more we develop compassion, the more genuinely ethical our conduct will be. As we have seen, when we act out of concern for others, our behavior towards them is automatically positive. This is because we have no room for suspicion when our hearts are filled with love. It is as if an inner door is opened, allowing us to reach out. Having concern for others breaks down the very barriers which inhibit healthy interaction with others. Having concern for others breaks down the very barriers which inhibit healthy interaction with others. And I think that we live, whether it's out here, if you live in the city, people don't interact with each other. I'm always amazed as I walk around here. No one else walks around. There's very little interaction. And when in India, there's maybe a little too much. But we're working towards developing concern for others. And it's hard when I think that I don't mean this to be a critique of our society and the way we live and the way we aspire to live, the direction that our society is propelling life is towards creating these little security cocoons that we live in. And we build up this security, feeling that that's what's going to protect us from unhappiness, suffering, difficulties, whatever. When what I think is being really recommended here is that opening our hearts to others, developing empathy, concern for others, break down the barriers which inhibit healthy interaction with others. And that healthy interaction with others brings about happiness. How's your relationship with your neighbors? You have one.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Not exactly. Yeah, 5 hours.
So we have kind neighbors. There are some neighbors who live down the road in some Venetian palazzo. So, and not only that, when our intentions towards others are good, we find that any feelings of shyness or insecurity we may have are greatly reduced. To the extent that we are able to open this inner door, we experience a sense of liberation from our habitual preoccupation with self. Paradoxically, we find this gives rise to strong feelings of confidence. Thus, if I may give an example from my own experience, I find that whenever I meet new people and have this positive disposition, there is no barrier between us, no matter who or what they are, whatever they have, whether they have blonde hair or black hair or hair dyed green. Even I feel that I am simply encountering a fellow human being with the same desire to be happy and to avoid suffering as myself. And I find I can speak to them as if they were old friends, even at our first meeting. Now that's here, I mean, His Holiness is presenting something that is sort of wonderfully radical, which is the idea that, I think that we come to believe that our ability to interact with others is determined by maybe the fact that we belong to the same social whatever, while recognizing the shared humanity makes all that irrelevant. And that's, I think that just discussing it, recognizing it, I think makes us happier. Even green hair, remember that. So and I find I can speak to them as if they were old friends even at our first meeting, by keeping in mind that ultimately we are all brothers and sisters, that there is no substantial difference between us, that just as I do, all others share my desire to be happy and to avoid suffering. I can express my feelings as readily as to someone I have known intimately for years. And not just with a few nice words or gestures, but really heart to heart, no matter what the language barrier. Well, I mean, if we can cultivate just that recognition, life becomes this wonderful adventure. It becomes, it transforms from being a challenge to being an opportunity for wonder. And this attitude, we've discussed here before, that one meditation that we can actually engage in is to think that just as I wish to be happy, this person wishes to be happy. Just as I wish to be happy, this person wishes to be happy. Just as I wish to be happy, this, and going just sitting by ourselves and on the train, going through each person in the compartment or in the car, and recognizing that, and it's not just they all want happiness the way I do, but really thinking that this person, going one by one and recognizing that each one who's engaged in his or her problems and challenges wishes to be happy in the same way that I do, wishes to be free of suffering in the same way that I do. We can, even if we can't interact with others in the way that is being suggested here, we view them in this whole other way. We recognize that we share this. So, we also find that when we act out of concern for others, the peace this creates in our own hearts brings peace to everyone we associate with. We bring peace to the family, peace to our friends, to the workplace, to the community, and so to the world. Why then would anyone not wish to develop this quality? Could anything be more sublime than that which brings peace and happiness to all? For my own part, the mere ability we human beings have to sing the praises of love and compassion is a most precious gift. So,
You can see that that would solve all the world's problems, all of them.
yeah.
And that's what it's going to take. All the barriers come down. You don't see yourself as different from other people. you're not. And I feel like just little bits of it can show you, if you have like a little interaction and you feel that, and then you realize it could be so much more than that, all of your interactions could lead you to that. But it's changing your mindset, it's changing your, behaviors and stuff. But doable.
Conversely, not even the most skeptical reader could suppose that peace ever comes about as a result of aggressive and inconsiderate, that is to say, unethical behavior. Of course, it can't. I well remember how I learnt this particular lesson when I was a small boy in Tibet. One of my attendants, Khensuр Tenzin, had made a pet of a small parrot, which he used to feed with nuts. Although he was a rather stern man with bulging eyes and a somewhat forbidding aspect, merely at the sound of his footsteps or of his coughing, the parrot would show signs of excitement. As the bird nibbled from his fingers, Khensuр Tenzin would stroke its head, which appeared to put it into a state of ecstasy. I was very envious of this relationship and desired the bird to show me the same friendship. But when I tried on a few occasions to feed it myself, I failed to get a good response. So I tried poking at it with a stick in the hope of provoking a better reaction. Needless to say, the result was totally negative. Far from forcing it to behave better towards me, the bird took fright. What little prospect of establishing friendly relations there may have been was totally destroyed. I learnt thereby that friendship comes about not as the result of bullying, but as a result of compassion. The world's major religious traditions each give the development of compassion a key role, because it is both the source and the result of patience, tolerance, forgiveness, and all good qualities. Its importance is considered to extend from the beginning to the end of spiritual practice. So this, I thought I would mention that in Chandrakirti's commentary to Nagarjuna's Middle Way, when he begins his verse of obeisance, is a praise of compassion, and he's expressing the fact that for a spiritual practitioner, compassion is essential to enter the spiritual path. Compassion is essential to practice along the spiritual path. And compassion is essential once we have attained the highest level of enlightenment whereby we can benefit all others. Compassion at each stage is the essential ingredient, and therefore Chandrakirti praises compassion as he begins the entering the middle path. What is today?
26.
So I'll read it from, this is from Illuminating the Intent, an exposition of Chandrakirti's Entering the Middle Way. So this is Tsongkhapa's commentary on Chandrakirti's exposition of Nagarjuna's Middle Way. As compassion alone is accepted to be the seed of the perfect harvest of Buddhahood, the water that nourishes it, and the fruit that is long a source of enjoyment, I will praise compassion at the start of all. So compassion ninje is important at the beginning, important throughout, and important once we've attained the state of enlightenment. Does anyone want to share? We don't have questions coming from over here tonight. So, before we recite this, ending the sutra with the sutra on the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels, we can, just as we did a rosary of Om Mani Padme Hums, we can just spend a few, just like 2 or 3 minutes thinking, just as I wish to be happy and don't wish to suffer, so think of individual people and then think of more and more people and try to extend this to people you're fond of, friends, family, people whom you are neutral about, the sort of, and extend it to birds and insects and deer and the ticks on the deer, and then extend it also to people who make difficulty in your lives and people whom you would put in the category of enemies. And you're thinking that just what makes them, just as I wish to be happy and don't wish to suffer, that's what motivates their actions, and come to recognize that. So we'll spend just 2 minutes doing that. Okay. So, Darren, do we have names of... Thank you. We've been asked to pray for Dolly Parton and the Tibetan and Nepalese who are victims of the terrible floods along the border between Nepal and Tibet. So we will recite the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha Bhagavat Tathagata Arhat Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings. The unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He's completely liberated from suffering. He's completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He's not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He's completely cut the knots. He's completely liberated from extreme torment. He's liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously, they are worthy of veneration, they are worthy of receiving prostration, they are a field of glorious merit, they are completely capable of receiving alms, they are an object of generosity, they are a great the protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue. I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberated from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma of this peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So let's read the 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will learn to face. I will cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness, directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the earth, worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Shall we read the prayer for a swift return of Frater Chomlai Rinpoche? Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes. Guru Lobsang Tugwang Doje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast ways of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though having I will invite all in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serve the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till sickly existence end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the Dharmakaya, brought forth by the Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and which fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight. Thank you. So this Saturday there will not be Tara here. Next Monday there will be class in New York City. And then next Wednesday again here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.